Good morning, everyone. At the outset, I would like to express my deep appreciation to the organizers for hosting this event. As we are well aware, recently we have been facing the most rapid changes in the international landscape since the 1990s. The US-China competition is causing ripple effects, amplifying military and economic conflicts, not only in Northeast Asia, but also in Indo-Pacific. And with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, it looks like the world is now divided into the bloc for freedom and the bloc for China and Russia. 30 years after the emergence of the post-Cold War era in 1990, we are witnessing the emergence of new Cold War era. And this new era of chaos is calling for a lot of preparation. We need to respond to non-conventional security challenges such as cyberspace, the pandemic, and climate change, as well as conventional ones. In addition, as we experienced from last year's shortages of diesel exhaust fluid, keeping the global supply chain stable is an economic security challenge we need to meet. All of this while dealing with the grave threat of North Korea, which is advancing its nuclear capability day by day. This has created a very complicated and daunting situation. As we come up with our survival strategy amid rapidly changing international landscape, the key is to set the course for the future. We need to set the direction for how Korea can survive. Otherwise, our diplomacy and security will drift and fall apart. Then, what should be our course for the future? We should value a free democracy as our constitutional foundation, and based on bold diplomacy and strong national defense, open an era for a truly peaceful Korean peninsula. But I would like to ask whether we have been faithful to this principle for the last 5 years. As much as our relations with the North and China is important, we shouldn't have forgotten our values and national interest. Therefore, we need to be guided by our value of free democracy and expand global cooperation. Strengthening the U.S. ROK alliance, sharing values and interests, and working with the UK, EU, Australia, and Canada will be essential. We should also speak up for human rights, our universal values, and we have somewhat disregarded while being too conscious of other countries. Talking about human rights but disregarding efforts to improving human rights situations in reality, not to offend other countries, is a hypocrisy. Moreover, we need to more actively cooperate with free world countries on economic and security fronts. We need to maintain the hyper gap we have in cutting-edge technologies, secure a supply of essential goods, and build a foundation for our businesses to survive. We shouldn't just hold on to the markets that exist today. We need to read global trends, predict potential challenges, and implement our survival strategy. In this sense, I think the importance of the U.S. ROK alliance cannot be emphasized enough. Lastly, the U.S. ROK alliance is forged in blood, as the two countries fought and bled together against communism to protect freedom. However, the U.S. is an invaluable friend to Korea, which has supported us in our outstanding economic growth. However, over the last few years, the U.S. ROK alliance has not been appreciated, and we were too conscious of North Korea and China. The U.S. ROK meetings between foreign affairs and defense ministers have been held since 2018, and the extended deterrence strategy and consultation group designed to respond to North Korean nuclear threat has also not been convened since January 2018. The U.S. ROK combined military exercises have been scaled back due to the Singapore-U.S. DPRK summit and the pandemic, and the implementation of various measures has also been delayed. In contrary, we made a so-called 3-no commitment to China regarding SAD issues, but in fact, President Xi never paid a visit to Korea during the Moon Jae-in administration's term. Unlike our expectations, he visited Pyongyang in May 2019, further strengthening his ties with North Korea. North Korea, on its part, is continuing its provocations, clearly indicating the failure of Moon administration's North Korean policy. Now it's time to reinforce the U.S. ROK alliance. We need to share our core values of freedom and democracy, market economy, rule of law, and human rights by strengthening our comprehensive strategic alliance. We need to broaden our scope of cooperation and work with democracies in Asia Pacific to build a free and open regional order together. As President-elect Yoon stressed, we need to pursue open cooperation to expand our common interests by participating in working groups for climate change and new technology under Quad. We can build broader foundation to safeguard our economy and security by doing so. Above all, broader and deeper ROK alliance can enhance confidence in the extended deterrence that the U.S. promised, so that North Korea will not take any reckless action. Advancing the U.S. ROK alliance can be instrumental in spreading our shared values, strengthening our security, and solidifying economic security. Advancing its nuclear capabilities, North Korea is openly making provocations, as evidenced by hypersonic missile tests and ICBM tests. Moon Jae-in administration's peace process has utterly failed. A unified Korean peninsula we aspire to seems distant. Now, it's time to take a long-term approach to the inter-Korean relations. We need to affirm our stance when necessary, leading North Korea to a right path. North Korea should talk about complete, verifiable denuclearization. Denuclearization is a prerequisite to fundamental changes in the inter-Korean relations. Without it, no matter how many end-of-war commitments or peace declarations are made, there would be nothing more than paper. To be sure, we need to leave the door open to dialogue to manage risks. Therefore, even before complete denuclearization, we should come up with concrete measures for aid and cooperation with North Korea in line with the tangible progress in denuclearization. Humanitarian aid for North Korea should be provided according to the needs of North Korea, independently of the political situation. Such policy is a normal North Korean policy. Unification might look like a distant future, but we still need to normalize our relations with North Korea and lay the foundation. To be sure, the U.S. ROK alliance is not a cure-all. Especially harsh reality of the international relationship teaches us that unless Korea builds its strengths by itself, it will face a grave consequence. So we need to reinforce our own national defense capabilities. However, the U.S. ROK alliance will play a huge role in managing the changes in the international landscape and threats from North Korea. I would like to once again thank you all for giving me this great opportunity to speak to you today. And I'd like to thank One Korea, International Forum on One Korea, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.